So hello and welcome to part 2 of the Q&A event for the 5k subscribers, and it's time to answer a lot of the other questions I received since I put the video up. So let's start. How do you consider making a clan on War Thunder a bit like Wiki Baby on World of Tanks? I simply don't. For me, clans are structures of people with a common interest and a common objective, and it's going to be like a lot more like that in the future with World War mode. Also, I think that if I create a clan, I'm going to be the face of that clan, and I have to deal with relations with other clans, other people, etc. And I'm not a good diplomat. I'm. I mean, you know this because you have seen my videos, and probably most of you guys have seen me in the forums. I never hold back what I think about something, and I never keep my mouth shut when, in sometimes I should actually do so, not to come up as a loud-mouthed guy. I'm a lousy diplomat, very lousy. I always speak my mind, and that's really not compatible with leading a clan. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I mean, I get that the idea is getting a clan like Wiki Baby to get people to learn how to play War Thunder and be better at it. But I guess I'm doing that with the videos. The clan is not an option, at least not right now. Next one. Are there more Men of War bits coming soon? Probably yes. I actually don't have any any footage of Men of War right now, but I play it now and then. So yeah, probably I might be able to capture some footage and put it up. Yeah, sure. But also keep in mind, it's not going to be happening a lot of times. The channel is about War Thunder, and most videos are going to be about War Thunder. But yeah, now and then I'll put some Men of War videos up. Pratt and Whitney are 20800 Double Wasp versus Merlin variants, including Packard. Which one is better? Both. I mean, you are naming two of the best engines of the war. They simply are very different in nature. The Merlin was much smaller, it was much lighter. It could be mounted in much more aerodynamic shapes, and the Pratt and Whitney was a monster of an engine, very heavy, very powerful, and very big. And it was a radial, so it was impossible to get a plane as aerodynamic as an inline engined plane with a radial engine one. So I don't have a favorite between both. Both were fantastic engines, fantastic, and both power planes that I really admire, like the P51 or the F4U. So I simply can't decide. I mean, they were very different. It's like asking who do you love more, your mom or your dad? Come on, I love both. In your LA5 review, you mentioned that the high explosive fragmentation cells of the SPAC cannons wouldn't work properly, and your suggestion of using AP cells worked fine for me on all planes with SPACs. But in one of the recent patches, there was a note that it changes the SPACs. So, have you any chance of testing it out? If it would be worth changing back to high explosive fragmentation omnipurpose cells? Yes, I have, and yes, they work, and they work very well. They work amazingly well, actually. Before they simply seemed like doing nothing. I don't know in arcade, but I have tried them in historical battles, and yeah, they work, and they work very well. So you might want to give it a try. Do you think they should change in any way the Focus 180 D13 as a plane itself? Flight model, rate of climb, top speed? I don't know. As simple as that. I have no clue. I haven't flown the plane since 1.27. So I don't know if it's too good in acceleration compared with the historical one, if it's too fast, too slow. I don't know. All I know is that it's an extremely powerful plane, and I mean, I only have to see people flying with it to know that it's simply the best plane right now in historical battles. So I don't know if they should change the flight model. What I do know is that they should bump the level to 15 and increase the repair cost of the things, because 9,000 Laios is simply ridiculous. Next one. What was your first game of War Thunder like? If not first, then one of your first. I actually remember my first game in War Thunder. I was flying the German biplanes and I utterly sucked. I simply didn't. I wasn't used to the controls. I was barely using any keyboard. I had no clue on how to manage my views. So it was pretty pathetic. I think I killed one or two enemies and lost all my planes, so go figure. So it wasn't exactly brilliant, but after a while I started getting the hang of it, and soon enough I was doing pretty well. So yeah. What is your opinion on the variation of the British tree? Do you feel there needs to be an improvement, for instance, planes or variants added, or do you feel the current test tree is substantial? Thanks. Well, of course, I want more planes added to the British tree, and I think there are a lot of them missing. Spitfire 14, for instance, the Griffon 1, maybe an early Griffon 1, maybe the Spitfire 12, which was also a pretty good plane down below, but at altitude it suffered a lot. But it was a pretty nice plane down below. I would love to see the Westland Wilbin, the twin engine fighter bomber that saw service since 1940 up to 1943. There were very few of those ever produced because the engine was phased out by Rolls-Royce. They simply stopped producing the engine, which was the Rolls-Royce Peregrine, and they stopped producing it to concentrate on the Merlin. But the plane, the Whirlwind, was very promising. If you see the XP50 in the game, the new American Premium, it was actually aesthetically looking very close to that plane, but with inline engines, not radial. So yeah, that would be a cool one. Also, Whitleys, Stirlings, Halifaxes. There are a lot of British planes that need to be in War Thunder. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And of course, yes, the Vampire, the Sea Vampire. So there are a lot of planes I would like to see in the game for the British. Will you be live streaming with Origin anytime soon? Yeah, I actually live stream with him a lot. Well, of course, not every day, but actually a couple of times a week. I actually usually do so. So yeah, probably the highest chance you have to find me in Origin's stream is Saturday night, because it's I mean, that's a night I know I can fly. I can stay up until very late in the night. So yeah. Once we are able to select our armaments on the 109G6, G10, and K4, what will be your armament on this aircraft and why? Single MK184 single 30mm in the center line and no wing gondolas. I want the hitting power of the 30mm, but I don't want to lose any maneuverability or performance because of the gondolas. So probably I'll go for that. Maybe I might settle for the 20mm instead of the 30mm. I don't know. Mostly because it offers higher fire rate and rate of fire, sorry, and higher chances of actually scoring hits. But 30mm, I mean, those things really kill very fast. So I'll give it a try, but probably will be the 30mm without gondolas. Do you think the Henkel 51 needs a 70mm cannon? Oh, no. what what kind of question is that? How to counter broken planes? Buffalo, Yak 90. Well, ensure that you don't engage them with equal or inferior energy, and stay the hell out of the front quarters of a Yak 90. In arcade, in historical battles, the Yak 90 is not such big of a problem. So yeah. And also, I have been asked a lot about this. Are you going to show us your beautiful face? I don't want. I don't know why do you people want to see my face. I mean, really? Do you want to be scared? Like, huh? Okay, I guess if you want to see me, I can put up a photo. So yeah, that's me. That's a picture taken of me maybe 2 weeks ago. So now you have my face. Oh god, what have I done? Let's go back to the questions. What ammo is good on Spitfires with cannons? I have tried all of them. I have a lot of success with omnipurpose for the 20mm Spanos, and I usually stick with that. Yeah, that actually works quite well. Next one. What's your favorite dinosaur? Oh, Tyrannosaurus. No question about that. I mean, it's my favorite one. Big teeth, big size, very heavy, very powerful, and the biggest hunter that has ever existed on Earth. So there's little reason to go for any other dinosaur. Next one. Does your voice solve wars and set the mighty jingles to sleep? Or do you just have an amazing voice? I don't know. I really don't know. If you think my voice is cool, well, thank you. Thank you very much, but I don't really know. I don't think I have that amazing of a voice, but thank you. Next one. Do you think they should have more, and do you think they should add planes that never made to the prototype states? Um, well, it's inevitable. It's going to happen, and that goes hand to hand with the decision of Gaijin to make the game go up to 1953, when the Korean War ended. You can't have any other way when you have 5 nations, and 2 of them did produce no new planes since 1945. So to give them some planes that remain competitive in the higher levels, you need to put some prototypes up. There's no other way. I'm looking forward to it. No, at all. I don't like the idea of prototype planes because usually there's a very I mean, it's very hard to prove that a given prototype plane is well done or badly done. Because let's face it, who has source information on the XP55 ascender? I guess the flight model guys do, but I mean, I don't, and I have a lot of source information from a lot of planes, but those are so strange, so rare. There were just 2 prototypes of that plane, so the actual information, the source information, the information from the engineers who actually worked with that plane is very rare. So good luck trying to prove that that thing is overpowered or underpowered or overperforming on underperforming. You simply can't, because you don't have. I mean, I know about that plane. I know what I have read in books, but books is not source data. They are not performance charts for that plane. They are not climb rate charts for that plane, at least not for the general public. And it's going to be the same with planes that were very rare or in prototype states, and it's going to be even harder with planes that actually never existed, like the TA-183. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's going to happen. Like it or not, it's going to happen. So just accept it with a smile. What are you going to do? What do you think of the up and coming World War and the advent of ground and air forces? Any specific tank ships you will go for? Well, I think it's going to rock. I think it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to have a game mode that simply puts all of us in our favorite vehicles in the same arena to fight it out. What do you think? That is amazing. Specific tanks I want to drive. I want to drive the Tiger. Big surprise here. And I want ships is going to be a little tougher. Probably the Iowa class battleship. It's a ship I always liked, so yeah, probably that one. But the tank is, I guess it's not coming like a big surprise. I mean, everyone likes the Tiger, so everyone is going to be aiming for one. What do you think is the best plane in War Thunder? What's your favorite? Well, my favorite plane, of course, is any of the Focke-Wulf Anis. It's my favorite plane in history, so it is in the game. What is the best? Well, that depends. If you are speaking of pure performance, the MiG-15, without a question. If you are talking about the best cost-effective plane right now, the Dora 13. Again, there's no question about that. It's insanely cheap for how good it is. And yet more questions. Concerning aviation, What's your opinion about the air warfare of the future? All them drones and stuff. Is this the right way? Well, I'm not the one to make that call. I'm not a Air Force pilot or a general. But I do think that the human being has a sixth sense and is always going to be better at um, gathering information and to find the proper logic answer for the information he's receiving. Of course, it's reaching a point where there is so much input of information into a fighter plane that things are becoming really hard to track. You have to keep visual awareness around your plane. You have to keep an eye on your radar. You have to keep an eye on your early warning receivers for if you detect your plane is detecting any kind of radar sources. There's a lot of information you have to be keeping track of. But at the same time, there are ways to go around that. I mean, there are AWACS planes, the E3, for instance, the Sentry, with people who are actually doing most of the information load for the plane, for the pilot. And I think that a computer will never have the twitch instinct to react to very fast developing combat. But you never know. I mean, computers are also developing at a very quick pace, so it may happen at what point. But I fear that moment because the moment, I mean, basically air combat is all about intelligence, being an intelligent guy, and applying the proper answers to the proper problem. And only artificial intelligence can do that. If we are talking about computers, and I'm really scared about artificial intelligence. I think it's a very risky step to take. So yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Next one. What is your opinion about 37mm cannons in general, in both arcade battles and HP? Do you think them as a problem, and if so, what would you change? In historical battles, they are not a problem at all. They are super hard to aim. They are very hard to hit with, and they have very few rounds per cannon. So, I mean, if you get hit by one of those, you are gone. As simple as that. But I don't think there's a big trouble with that. In arcade battles, it's another whole different story. And yeah, I would do something to avoid it. I would do two things. First of all, reloads of cannons take longer. Air reloads, I mean, take longer the bigger the caliber is. So a 20mm cannon reloads faster than a 30mm cannon, and a 30mm cannon reloads faster than a 37mm cannon, which in turn reloads faster than a 50mm cannon. So right now you have a base reload for cannons which is I think 30 seconds, without taking into account the pilot skills. I would bump it up for 40 seconds for the 30mm cannons, to 50 seconds for the 37mm cannons, and for 1 full minute for the 50mm cannons. Of course, making sure that the 50mm cannons work, which they don't right now. That will solve one of the problems, the fast reload. People simply can spam those cannons and reload very quick, and they don't fear overheating them, because who cares, they can have them back up in 15 seconds. If actually they have a longer reload, they will think twice before spamming that button. And the second thing I would do is to get rid of the target lead indicator in arcade. Well, you are seeing right now, and in the other Q&A video you saw me flying the latest custom missions I flew with you subscribers. And in that game, in those custom missions, we were flying with arcade flight model, but with historical battles damage model and without target lead indicator. And the problem with those heavy cannons is that they are very easy to aim, because you have a thing in your screen that is saying shoot here and you will hit. If you get rid of that, a lot of problems associated with those very big cannons will be gone. And not just with the 37 in the Jak 90. I mean, the BF-109 G6 is as much as a nightmare as is the Jak 90, and also will have problems without the proper target lead indicator. So yeah, I would do that. I would totally do that. Question. What is your favorite modern jet fighter? Um, F-14, the Tomcat. I totally love that plane. I mean, it was not the best. In some areas it was. I mean, it was a magnificent fleet defense fighter. But it's the looks and those sweeping wings. I love them. There's something into that plane that always caught my attention. So yeah, probably that one, the F-14. What is your if you could change one thing in War Thunder, what would it be? Not by, taking the economy into account. Well, I just said it. Getting rid of the target lead indicator in arcade, putting a huge penalty to friendly killing, or even damaging friends. I will actually go as far as say as if you kill a friendly, you get kicked of the battle instantly. So people will actually think twice before killing a friendly. And then I would ensure that all the planes of the same historical era are at the same level. Because right now we are seeing some really ridiculous stuff and planes that don't belong to a level and basically raping the opposition at that level. So yeah, those probably would be the things that I would change in War Thunder. Mighty English, suggest me your channel. How could you suggest me good channels that you watch? Oh, well, of course. If you are looking for something related to War Thunder, I highly recommend you Bismarck channel. Bis 18 Mark 70. I'm going to put a link down in the description and actually in the screen as well to his channel. He's every bit as good as me at giving advice, and he's very funny for a German. So yes, he's a really good YouTube producer for War Thunder, and I think he doesn't have the subscribers he actually deserves. As for non-related War Thunder stuff, with regards to World of Tanks, well, I guess it's totally needless to say that Jingles would go the first in this answer. But come on, every one of you knows Jingles and is subscribed to him, so whatever. From things other than War Thunder, well, in World of Tanks, High Flyer 15. For me, that guy is an absolute master at what he does. Also, it's going to be in the link description below. And about non War Thunder or World of Tank related stuff, I'm well, back upon the time I played Minecraft, and I became a subscriber of a guy who was called the Minecraft Muse, who was putting up serious videos about quests he was trying to do just for fun. For instance, quest for the golden apple, back when the golden apples were super strange and you could only find them in strongholds and they were very rare. And then he started doing very creative stuff and I simply got hooked. I still am a subscriber of him today. He started a totally new channel based around Minecraft, but with mods, not vanilla Minecraft, but with mods. And also is putting some other stuff now and then. The new channel is called Spoonwack, and I'm going to put as well a link down there. And he's a very talented guy. I mean, and that's one of the guys you really wish should have 1 million subscribers, because he actually deserves it. Very funny stuff, very entertaining stuff, very high quality stuff. I mean, the amount of time that guy puts into his videos is staggering. So yeah, I love that guy. Of course, not both. I mean, Bismarck knows me, but High Flyer 15 and Spoonwack have not a clue of who I am. I'm just one more of their many subscribers. But yeah, I like them. Next one. Do you plan to start Attacker Combat School series or Bombard School series? I guess I could, but there's little need for that. I mean, bombing. What do you need to know about bombing? Air gunnery. I guess, for shooting from the gunner's spots. But as for the bombing itself, I mean, it's as easy to line your reticle, bombing reticle, on the target and drop the bomb. I mean, you don't really need a lot of tactical stuff to drive a bomber. Just take a look at the map, look at where are the enemy fighters, go elsewhere and drop your bombs on the nearest ground target. I don't know if there's a lot more than that. I guess that if a lot of people ask for it, I could put something up. But I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I simply have no clue. Because I don't know what to say or what kind of tactical advice I can give about that. About attack planes, I actually made a ME410 video for fast ground attack slashing moves, and I'm going to link it as well so you can check it. But other than that, there's not much more than that. I mean, it's dropping bombs. It's harder in historical battles because you don't have a reticle, but I mean, it's just getting the feel for where your bombs are going to drop. So I don't know. I don't think there's a huge need for that. But if people insist on that, I might do something. I don't know. Can you play with subscribers sometime? Oh well, I do. I mean, you are seeing me playing with subscribers, basically. As for out of the custom missions and between the week, it's complicated because all that time I'm mostly working on my videos. The plane analysis series I'm trying to do without the squad because I want to portray the properties of each plane when flying it alone, because a lot of you guys fly alone without a squad. It's the best way to do those kind of videos. The squad actions I fly with other YouTubers. So usually we have full squads when we do that. So I simply don't have a lot of time to play with random people who just pop around. So yeah, I try to, but I don't always have the time. That's the thing. What are the origins of your name, RamJB, and what does it mean? Well, it's two parts, Ram and JB. And no, I'm not asking for anyone to ram Justin Bieber, just in case. Even though he would actually deserve it, but whatever. Rammed with a Tiger 2 tank, for instance. No, okay. Ram is my original to go nickname in internet. It's one I choose shortly after I started flying online, and that's because at that time, sorry, at that time I was flying Falcon 4, and the first online simulator I flew online was Falcon 4. Shortly after a while, I mean maybe 3 weeks after I started flying Falcon Online, is where I found Ice Sky, and I totally dropped Falcon for good. But in those 3 weeks, it was enough to notice that I had this distinctive behavior that was that I tended to get stamped against the ground with surprising regularity. And being like I am, back then I was already flying with some American guys and English speaking guys. And of course that means that I got a lot of messages like, oh, you rammed the ground. Ram the ground. Well, whatever. The name Ram simply got into me, and I kept with it. The JB are my initials. So at one point in the past, I mixed them both, and RamJB it is. More questions. Do you know that American X-Plane is going to get raped when 119 HB, right? It's too slow, has too slow roll rate, and roll looks like it doesn't zoom climb very well. Well, what I'm going to say, the XP55 Ascender never moved on from being a prototype because the performance of the plane sucked. I mean, the plane was crappy. So you are only going to expect it to be crappy in the game. However, it's a plane that doesn't shine at anything, but it's not bad at anything either. It's one of those kind of jack of all trades, master of none, and at level 8 it's going to surprise more than one or two guys. I can tell you that. It doesn't do very well. It doesn't die very well. It has a totally crappy roll rate, but it's a good turner, and it's not that slow. Surprising as you might find it. I think it's going to be a mediocre plane, but it's not going to be as bad as you think. In any case, I think it turns pretty well. This one, aren't you afraid that there will be a point where your fame that everyone wants to surrun JB and you will not have the fun anymore? Well, we are well past that point. I mean, I can tell you that out of maybe 10 games I play in historical battles, I get recognized in 9, at the very least. So that point has already been reached, and I'm well past that point. But the point of being recognized, not the point of stopping having fun, because as you might notice in my channel, I fly only historical battles. I simply drop arcade battles, and in historical battles things are very different. In arcade, there's no way around it, and for several reasons. First of all, if you get recognized in arcade mode, then the map is very small. The player count is very high for the size of the map. So you get very close to the enemy all the time. Also, flight models are much more permissive, so you have to be careful with that. And also, I don't know what's going on with arcade, that even people who don't know you, as soon as someone says, hey, look, a YouTuber, I don't know if there's some kind of medal that awards something to the people who kill a YouTuber, but I mean, really, I have gotten raped and followed by people who didn't know me at the game start. Who's that guy? Oh, a YouTuber. Oh, okay, let's hunt him. It is like that, for real. So my problem was twofold. I mean, in arcade, I wasn't recognized that much. Maybe half of the time. In historical battles, is all the games someone recognizes me. But in arcade, it's impossible to avoid. I mean, people will make a mission of winning your game and going for you. And if it was bad for me, maybe a month and a half ago, when I totally stopped playing arcade because of that reason, and because arcade had turned into something which is not fun for me. Too many rams, too many friendly kills, too many bullshit. Too many people dropping 3,000 meters just to steal the guy who's about to crash and you are about to get a kill on. He will drop 3,000 meters just to steal him from you. So that's one thing, and the other was that each time I was recognized, I got a squad of at least 4 or 5 guys who were going for me all the battle, and that's not fun. And if it was for me back then, when I had maybe 3,000 subscribers, 3,000 and a half more or less, I can't only imagine how it was for people like Jingles, for instance, with 70k subscribers. I mean, he's going to get crapped on no matter what. In historical battles it's different, because flight models are much less permissive, maps are much larger, and people usually don't make a mission, don't make a mission out of killing you, because they know that if they focus on just one guy on the enemy team, the rest of the team are going to totally demolish them. So if they see me at 6 kilometers, but they see a closer one at 2 kilometers, they will focus on the closer one first, which makes sense. But in arcade, it's not that way. Also, in historical battles, I mean, the story has two sides. Yes, I'm called primary a lot of times. People really want to kill me in historical battles. But the game mode on itself prevents it from being not fun. And on the other hand, people who really want to kill me go to extreme lengths to do so. They really become too committed with the idea of killing me. And so they will follow whatever maneuver I do. And you know that momentum, one of the best ways to kill the enemy is to lure them into a situation where they lose all their speed and they can't avoid the inevitable bounce that is coming later. And actually, being a YouTuber and having people really aching to kill me has given me the chance to get some kills that I think wouldn't have been so easy to get if they thought they were going for a normal guy. So yes, I'm called as a primary, but it's not the same as in arcade. I mean, arcade and historical battles is a completely different thing, and it's much less. I mean, it's not a problem in historical battles, while it is in arcade. So, but I'm well past the point where I'm being recognized in all the games. So I'm not bothered or worried about when it happens, because it's already happening. Next question. And the next question is, do you like trains? I don't have anything against them, at least. I don't know. What the hell? What question is this? Yeah, well, they go on rails. They move to one point to another one connected with a railroad. They are okay, I guess. I like them. I don't dislike them, so I guess yes, I do. I don't know exactly what this question is, but whatever. This one. Ram, what is your opinion of GeForce model? Is it accurate, too lax, too severe? I will play arcade, so it is not such a big factor. But World War mode will probably be less forgiving. I've pulled incredible G numbers playing in arcade, and I'm wondering if you think those numbers need to be adjusted by the devs. Well, in arcade mode, nothing is going to change. I mean, you can pull as many Gs as you can that your brain is never going to break. And even in the pilots don't feel the Gs as much as they do in historical battles. It's relaxed realism, and it's that way. You are right in being worried about World War mode because it might be a lot harder, and actually it's going to be. I mean, at least is what devs said in the first Q&A session that I was with them. They say that World War mode is going to have a difficulty level very similar to historical battles, and in historical battles you simply can't pull more than 11G for more than 1 or 2 seconds because your plane will break your wings. So yeah, don't worry about that because I mean tanks are still not here. Warships will take a good while to come, a very long while. I'm guessing. I don't have a clue. And beyond that, after tanks and ships are here, they have to work on the actual World War mode. So there's a long time to go before that happens. So you have time. But if you want to train yourself for the World War mode, of course you need to start playing historical battles and getting used to the very different rules that exist in that game mode. Yeah, this one. Every time I try to use the joystick with fighter planes and start pulling hard, it starts spinning like mad, often making me crash. Why is that and how do I fix it? Well, why is that? It's because you are stalling your plane. There are two ways to stall a plane. One of them is going so slow that the wings stop producing lift because there's not enough airflow over and under the wing to create lift. So if you are going very slow, your plane will stall. And there's another way to stall the plane, which is to pull too hard on your joystick. At speeds over your stall speed, if your angle of attack, if the angle between the wing and the incoming air grows too large, the air stops flowing over the wing stops creating lift, and you enter a stall. And that's called an accelerated stall. It happens with joystick and it doesn't happen with keyboard and mouse because keyboards and mouse have an instructor that prevents you from entering and stall. But on the other hand, the instructor actually doesn't ride the stall. I mean, you can turn better with a joystick than with a keyboard. But the problem is that with a joystick you are risking entering the stall. My advice, be gentle. Be gentle on the stick. Don't pull so hard. Be more progressive in the pull action and learn to identify the point of your plane where it's about to stall, because You can actually feel when the plane is going to stall if you are very careful. You are not like pulling your stick backwards in one big stroke. So be more gentle, and you will avoid most of them. Second question: have you ever had enemies killing you? And if yes, how do you deal with them? Well, yes, I have. Of course, I mean the Moron of the Year award was already awarded some time ago, and it's from one guy who got mad at me because I killed one guy. He thought it was his kill, and came and team killed me. And I've gotten several times team killed even on takeoff by people who recognized me as a YouTuber. Yes, there are people like that. What to do? Just laugh at them, file a complaint, right click on their name in the statistic screen, and write what has happened. And say, well, this guy is team killing and is being a douche. And just trust on Gaijin to do their stuff and to kick the guy and to ban him. There's no other way to face it at the moment. Just tell them to fuck off and laugh at them because they are idiots. And well, I mean, what are you going to do? There's little else to do. And yeah, I guess that's it. And that brings us to the last question. When the tanks and the ships will be implemented into the game, will you make gameplay guide videos of them, or will you just stick with the planes? Well, from tanks, planes, ships, my favorite probably are always going to be the planes. Something that I simply can't avoid. They are my favorite things. My dream was to be a pilot, and I totally love plane games. So yeah, it's going to be probably my main focus. But I will also, of course, play tanks and play ships. And yeah, I have actually played other naval simulations. I have played Silent Hunter, but that's subs. But I back in the day I played great naval battles. I played Fighting in Steel with all the updates and the mods that later the naval warfare site actually put on place. I was an avid Harpoon player for a long time. Harpoon, I don't know. The strategy game. That's modern fighting, but whatever, they are still ships. I like a lot naval combat. So that probably will be my second most played mode. And about tanks, I actually have also played some tank simulators. And but maybe it's the ones that I would enjoy the least. I like tanks, but I think I like planes a lot more and warships more. So yeah, and definitely I will be putting up videos of them all, of course, no question about that. As for the thing is that probably for ships and for tanks, I don't know. Gameplay guide videos for a tank is a little bit easier to do, but for a destroyer, I mean, what do you say? Well, it's fast, it has weapons, and it has no armor. But yeah, I will be doing videos and analysis of both tanks and warships when the game. No doubt about that. And if you do, what kind of gameplay would you like to see in the ground and naval battles? Um, well, realistic. I mean, we are going to see arcade, historical battles, and for real battles in each of the vehicles in the game. So what I'm expecting is something very similar to what we have in planes right now. An arcade mode, which is a very relaxed realism one, fast-paced one, with a lot of fast-paced combat and um, harder. I mean, harder to kill because I think in arcade planes take a lot more to kill than in historical battles, but more battle resistant vehicles. And then an historical battle mode, which is half and half, I mean, it's going to be like, or as I'm expecting it to be more historical, more realistic, but not totally realistic, and then a full real mode. Um, and that in each of the game modes. And then I'm expecting World War to be a huge arena with a big map and two teams competing for victory. And as that's not a very different concept from that of maybe World War II Online. I might be totally wrong. It's what I am expecting. I don't know if it's going to happen that way or not, but it's what I am expecting. So yep, there's one last question actually. Out of all the flight simulators you have ever flown, what was your favorite? SSI. I think. I mean, I have flown a lot of them. A lot of them went very good and really led me a very good taste in my mouth, and I have very good memories of it. But the one I enjoyed the most, the one that actually hooked me into World War II plane simulators, and the one I had the best time, and the one I really look back and remember with a very big grin as the best I have ever flown. It has to be Aces Sky. I mean, for me, it was that. Failing that, maybe Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe. Back in the 1992, it's been a long time since that. Um, a very nice flight simulator for the day, of course. I mean, right now it's obsolete and looking like shit, but back then was very. It was a totally new concept. The dynamic campaign that thing had was something else, I can tell you. So yeah, those would be my two favorite ones. So yeah, that was it. This wraps it up for the Q&A session for 5,000 subscribers. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for being there and for making this channel what it is. Thank you for so many questions. Thanks for making me laugh because some of them were priceless. I mean, for real. And well, I hope you enjoyed seeing the gameplay, hearing me answering the questions, and well, you enjoyed it. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you later.